Hi, Tony Franquito here with Starship Gaia, where we explore quantum reality to live a happier, healthier life. Okay, just want to start out with a couple of things. First off, what quantum reality is, touch upon that real quick, and then we're going to talk about the chessboard and see where the white hats are at the moment. Okay, so let's just kind of go forward with that. So, quantum reality, we are looking at reality that we see right now. To each individual person out there right now looks at reality. What is that based on? It's based on all of our knowledge and experience and education, everything that is in our brain and our memory banks. All of that is used, right, to project what we see so that we're able to make judgments about what we see in front of us. Okay, so two people can be looking at the same painting and see different things because their point of view, their perception, is all based on what their experiences have been throughout this lifetime. Okay, perhaps other lifetimes too may be part of that, but it's all part of that memory bank, our computer, so to speak. It's very easy to talk in terms of computer. So it's using that computer, all of that information, and then looking at what it's out in front of us through the eyes, and then we actually look at it and we judge it. Okay, and it becomes our point of view, our perception becomes our reality. Okay, and then we make judgments about that reality, what we see, we make judgments about it, and that becomes our experience. All right, so that's how that works, and we can go over that in quite some detail uh, at some other point in some of the courses I'll be offering later on. Okay, still building out the website, and I'll be looking at a new platform to move on to, and we'll be looking at offering some in-depth courses to help out there right now. All right. Um, so the reason why I bring that up is because right now our perception, all the information that we have learned to this point in time, has been altered. You know, facts about history have been taught to us as a lie. You know, the news media that we're looking at right now, is taught to us as a lie. The TV is actually radiating at is broadcasting at a frequency that not only hypnotizes us, but it also affects our brain waves, our thinking. Okay, so there's subliminal messages put in there as well. They're very aware of what they're doing with the psychological warfare that's going on right now. So, looking at the war that we have right now, it's a war for our consciousness. This dead entity, this corporation that's taking over the planet, or that has taken over the planet and is trying to take over the planet, that's what we're looking at. This dead entity, the satanic, the Luciferian order that has been trying to take over the planet. And they've been doing this for quite some time. This dead entity, this satanic, this Luciferian, they've been harnessing the fear from us, keeping us enslaved to this cabal, to this monetary system that's fake, that's false, and taxing us and just draining us all the time, splitting apart the family unit. Now it takes two family members to work, right? And now mom and dad isn't home to teach the kid, right? Your children. So now that splits apart the family unit, right? And that further breaks humanity down, all right? And that energy keeping us locked in fear, where we're just working and working and slaving, coming home and turning on the TV, being hypnotized. We don't get to look at the bigger picture and live as real human beings. And they are just straining that energy from a spiritual level. And that spiritual level, they take that energy, they not only feed off of it, but they use it to manifest what they want to manifest. So they put it towards their imagined future, okay? And they use that energy in a quantum level to be able to enhance what they want to do, okay? Typically, no good, right? So, on that is that dead entity, Luciferian order, the Zionists, the Illuminati, if you want to call it that. And this all began with child trafficking, human trafficking. It's very, very profitable, human trafficking was, and enslavement. Okay? And they used to do this when they used to actually do regular slave trade with, and that was out in the open. Now, it's become more subversive. We're not very aware of it, but it's still a human trafficking is a huge trade out there. And not only is slavery, when we look at the amendment of the 14th Amendment, it made all of us a slave. And what do I mean by that? Well, it actually turned us into what's called a person, a corporation, where we can't own private property. You don't own your house. Try not paying the taxes, right, on your property tax. They come in and they take it away and they sell it, right? So that means that you don't own it. You're just leasing it, all right? If you really truly owned it, who could come in and take it away once it's paid off? It's done, right? You don't own anything. But if you pay it off, you're still paying that tax payment. That's not a tax. It's a lease payment, all right? And if you don't pay it, they take it away. So it's not truly yours. You don't own it, okay? So we can go into quite in depth on that, but that is basically what's happening overall. Same thing with our cars. You don't own your car either. Try not paying the property tax on it. Try, even if you're not paying property tax, some states don't have property tax. Well, that's fine, but try not paying a traffic ticket. Try not paying the insurance. Try driving that vehicle, right? So, and not paying, what do? They come in, they arrest you, or they take that vehicle. So there's if they arrest you, that's a punishment, right? Well, that's what you do, or to somebody who's a slave. So these are ways that they actually have fooled us and tricked us. And by educating, when we grow up in this environment, it becomes part of the education, part of the acceptance, and we accept that, and that becomes our perception, our reality, okay, which is false, all right? So it's a fake reality, all right? So that becomes, our experience, and they keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. Now, in a previous show, I had talked about the protocols of the Zion elders, and when we start looking at those protocols, they have a multi-pronged attack on our consciousness and our life force, until finally they wanted to actually reduce the population of the human race, okay, and then go into what's called transhumanism. And you can see this is outlined on the Georgia Gaia stones, all right, and that's in stone. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's actually there in writing, what I'm telling you, all right? And then the protocols of the Zion elders is also a document that is for real as well, which translates into Agenda 21, all right? So all of this is all interrelated, and it all plays on our consciousness, all right? And when we can put different ideas in our head and keep us in that fear, then they feed off of that and they use that fear. There's a lot of rituals that they do, and we think, hey, it's a great ritual. Let's, October 31st, let's go out and celebrate death, right? Well, really, what we're doing is we're actually feeding energy to what this cultist Luciferian order is using. They take that quantum energy and they build it up and they use it in a way for them to overtake our consciousness even more, okay? So that is the corporation, the dead entity, Luciferian Agenda 21, the Zionist, the protocols of the Zion elders, that is all moving forward, right? And then you look at life itself, all right? And that's God, that's good, that's God. All right, moving forward. That is us as mankind, a kind man. And that's where our Constitution comes in, because all of our rights come from the Creator. All right? And we get to define who our Creator is. It gives us that flexibility. Then we can move forward as living beings, right? I am alive. I'm a living being. Right? And when we take that power back, we become the masters, you see? And our consciousness, if we continually to bring God into our life, or your higher power, or your creator into your life, and you sit and you meditate, okay? And this type of meditation that I teach is a meditation that brings us beyond our mind, our thinking, everything that's been put into our program. Okay, that's our program in there. That's that computer. So we go beyond that, and that puts us into a quantum reality that is infinite. And there's infinite knowledge and wisdom in that reality. Okay, so by getting into this practice, we start to step into our strength. And when we step into our strength, we have a lot of power there, because we can then receive information from the quantum reality, the infinite knowledge, like Einstein did. You know, he got the theory of relativity there, then he had to bring it into this 3D realm and figure out how to do it in mathematics to convey what he caught in quantum reality, all right, in the quantum knowing. So an example, you know, there was, I used to work as an engineer. I often came across issues that I didn't know how to solve. And at the time, I didn't know I was doing it, but I would actually sit back in a meditation. I didn't know I was doing meditation, but I would close my eyes, just lay back for a minute in a sitting position. And it would take me 15 or 20 minutes, and there would be something that would come to me. And then I'd have to figure out how to write that document, how to translate it into a drawing, you know, how to set it forth, how to prove it out before I went forward with it. Okay? But, you know, and people go, wow, how did you do that? Well, you know, I just did it. You know, I didn't know what I was doing, but that's what I was doing. I was tapping into the quantum real, the reality, the quantum knowing, you know, all knowing, all powerful, you see. So I'm no longer hypnotized into lack and limitation, which is what evil does. It puts us into lack and limitation. It hijacks our consciousness and takes away from our power. All right? So when we do this practice, then we actually step beyond that. And all this hypnotization, the hypnotic programming that they've been doing, okay, through the TV and education and so on and so forth, we step beyond that. And then we step into the real living being, okay? So what is going on now on the planet is that evil versus good versus evil, and good is winning, God is winning. So let's put that out there right now. God is winning. This is a big transition. This is the awakening that's going on right now. Awakening in consciousness, awakening to our power. All right. Not only that, there's a photon belt that we're going through, this whole galaxy is, that adds to that energetic shift. Okay. Now, as we awaken and our consciousness awakens, what happens is the energy of that fear that the cabal, the Luciferian order, had over the whole planet, we start to raise that energy. Okay. There's an app I use to meditate. It's called Insight Timer. It's a great app. You can get it free, and then you can actually pay for it too, and then you get some additional options to it. So I recommend that timer. There's some guided meditations on there, some other teachers on there, and then you see a lot of people meditating as well. And I've noticed that since this whole thing began, a lot more people are meditating and meditating more often during the day. So they're turning off the TV, you see. And when we turn within, what we're doing is we're raising that vibration of consciousness, and we keep raising it. And there's a thing called critical mass, once, or the 100th monkey. What happens is when we reach a certain critical mass, we overtake what the cabal, the Luciferian order was doing, right? And that energy shifts. And when that energy shifts, we've changed the outcome, the quantum time, that timeline, that quantum reality shifts, and we start to shift towards a greater future, right? An awakening, an alive future. So that is going on the planet as well. Okay, what is that quantum? What is that critical mass? Well, that critical mass, there was a study done with transcendental meditators. I think it was in 1993. And what they did was get a group together to focus on a specific city here in the East Coast. And they did a meditation for 3 months. And during that time that they were meditating for that city, the crime rate dropped. Emergency hospital rooms were the trips to the emergency room had dropped too. So those incidents, that event going there and people going to the emergency rooms had declined as well. Jobs increased. There were a lot of health, increased. There was a lot of these markers that actually increased and decreased the crime rate. All right. So what was that? How did they come up with how many meditators they needed to send that quantum energy to that city? Well, they took the square root of the population there and they came up with a number. And they said, well, we need, let's say 1,200. I've forgotten the exact number, but I think they needed something between 800 and 1,200 meditators. And they wound up, a lot of people volunteered. And they wound up using like 2,000, which was more than enough to change that energy in that city. Okay? So when we look at this consciousness awakening here in the United States, you got 360 million, take the square root, and then you wind up with a number. And that number, we could say, well, that would be the minimum number to shift the consciousness in this country. Now, we far exceeded that. I mean, when you look at the a number of votes that Trump had got, it's over 70 million. I think they're saying 70, 75 million. It's well over that now. That's awake. All right. And that's a huge number of people that changes that quantum shift here, that quantum reality. So we have that energy that's combating what the cabal's trying to do. They're still trying to push their negative energy. They're still hypnotizing the masses, right? They're still trying to do that through TV and the news media. And we all know the news media, all news outlets, even Facebook, is being censored and so on and so forth. And they're still pushing their agenda, okay, to keep us in fear and lack and out of our power. However, that critical mass is now flipped. Now, this is happening globally too. So more of the global people are starting to wake up, all right? So this is a battle that's going on right now on that spiritual plane to bring that energy forward, all right? So that is one of the things that's happening. It's very powerful. How is that playing out in the playing field now? Well, when we look at what's going on January the 6th, Mike Pence, the vice president, is supposed to be there to look at the electoral votes that come in and see if, make a determination whether he throws out different votes or not. And there are several things that he can do, but it comes down to him making that play, all right? So if he does the right thing, it would be a godly thing, right? A life force thing, and he would go with the information and evidence that's being presented before him, and you will see that these the fraud that's been happening would obviously be thrown out, all right? And you can go look at all the different, search the internet and YouTube and BitChute and Rumble, and there's another video platform, by the way, called Huge. It's UGE Tube, UGE Tube, and it's improving as well. So there's no censorship there right now. Some of these other platforms, BitChute's actually doing some censorship now that I've seen, and then there's I'm not sure about Rumble. Definitely YouTube, so you can only get things limited there, right? I'll be on YouTube, and then I'll be giving links to other platforms so I can go into depth about some of the things the evil Luciferian order does not want me to speak about, okay? And you to know about. So as far as it playing out in this 3D realm, moving forward, January 6th is a significant date. A lot of these globalists, the Luciferian order, the Zionists, whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati, the corporation is a good one. It's a dead entity. A corporation is that trying to take over living beings. They are being backed into a corner. Okay, so right now, as far as moving forward, there's a lot of things that can happen. The good guys are winning. They are doing arrests. They have been doing arrests globally. And there's some, I'll talk about this in another video. As soon as I learn how to do the software, I'll show you some some evidence. You know, I'm in Hollywood. It's easy to make somebody look like they're still alive. You can put the green screen behind. I got a green screen behind me now, but you can actually do it so that kind of like a bodysuit and makes me look like a completely different person. All right, so this technology has come a long ways. So you can even do holographic images and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different things we can do, body doubles and that kind of thing. So what I'm trying to say here is that the good guys, the white hats, are moving forward. All right. So know that we want to hold that image, that love vibration, and imagine us coming out the other side, going back to common law, and God wins, love wins, and we move forward in a greater freedom as we move forward. Because the more we do that, the more our vibration raises, and it goes against that cabal, you know, and it gives them less and less options to go forward with, right? So, and we, the white hats, the good beings, the love beings, the Nasara Jasara, is moving forward. As that goes, we feed more energy into that. More and more people raise their consciousness, and we start to move in to this brighter, greater future. Okay? So we want to know that we are moving forward into this new timeline. There has been a complete shift and a collapse of timelines. So now there's only, from what I have heard through somebody who has privy to some of these in-depth, like Project Looking Glass and so on and so forth, there has been these collapse of timelines. Now, in my own practice that I do here, I do astral projection, I do meditation between an hour, a couple hours a day, and you know, I do it early in the morning, and there's a calmness that I have now versus when this first started back in March, I think. There was um, recently there's the energy in that space that I go to has calmed down quite a bit. All right, and there is a lot of revelation that will come pretty soon. A lot more information will come out, so keep your eyes open for that. The news media will be one of the last things to come down. Uh, there are operations right now the military are doing globally that we want to keep hidden as well. All right, we don't want to put that all out there and have the bad guys look at it and so on and so forth. When this goes, I think it's going to pop all at once. I don't think they're going to come in and secure the United States and then all the other countries. I think when NESARA, JSAR, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the NESARA, which is National Economic Security and Reformation Act, I don't think they're just going to do United States because there are arrests going on all over the world. All right, they're locking down in certain countries because what they need to do is trap that cabal, the mafia, the globalists, and not allow them movement so that they can go in and do their arrest. Okay, and that's moving forward. Will there be collateral damage? In any war, any battle, there's always collateral damage. All right, so I've heard of people actually taking the shot and then having illnesses very quickly, either within minutes, hours, or a couple of days. People have had their faces getting, they've had no feeling in their face. It's just the left side of their face is like it's almost like it's you had a stroke or something. It's just completely paralyzed. Other people have a lot more trauma, and you have to do your own work. I'll have to learn how to use my software package here so I can pull that data up for you. But I believe it's on the CDC site right now, and you can go there and look at it and see how many people have taken it and how many people have had side effects, injuries. All right, and that's just within a few days or weeks. Never mind what the long-term side effects are. So there's all kinds of different things inside of this shot that I'm not going to take it, of course, unless somebody holds me down, to do it. So be aware that that's not something that you want to be doing. And if you're watching this, I'm sure that you're aware of that by now, that that's not something you want to be doing. But one of the moves that the White Hats did was be able to put that out there because that gave them the opportunity to do a military distribution throughout the country and throughout the globe to be able to go ahead and disperse this, especially in the United States. Let's focus on that because now President Trump can put the military into these different states under the guise of distribution of this shot. Okay, so that moves forward. All right. Let's see. So, January the 6th is going to be a very trying day. Trump has requested the Patriots to show up in Washington, D.C., and I assume that he has plenty of protection there because if there's going to be a lot of Patriots there in one place, the bad guy's got to be planning something as well. So I would imagine that the White Hats, everything, have that place secured and locked down for any type of shenanigans the Black Hats would have. All right, and you probably noticed that I use a lot of terms. Hopefully they're not too confusing for you, but you got Nassar, Jassar, White Hats, the good guys, God, good. Those guys move forward. Then you have the bad guys, Luciferian Order, Globalist, UN Agenda 21, 2030, Black Hats, along those lines. So, I was going to say that this human trafficking is really a big deal. And that's where all this started. So there's been a lot of executive orders that Trump has put in place. Now, this helps all those children that go missing every year. Okay, here, there's a lot of children that go to feed the Luciferian Order. Not only pedophilia, but the adrenochrome and some other things that are very nasty. Okay, and that will come to the surface as well. But when that comes down and that information is revealed, like what's been seen on Anthony Weiner's laptop, and then you have Hunter Biden's laptop, and then the hard drives, and then you've got all the emails from Hillary Clinton's server, which they still, you can get those from. There are a lot of them on Anthony Weiner's laptop as well. Then you have Epstein's Island and the flight logs for Epstein's Island. Oh my goodness, there's so much information, so much evidence to move forward with taking down the Black Hats. It really can move forward. So lots of great stuff there, and we'll get into a little bit more of this on the next episode. And hopefully I'm learning a new program so we can actually start showing you some of this stuff as we move forward. All right. So that being said, we do want to put a big prayer out there. A thank you to all of our military, active now out there to protect us and to move us into a brighter future. We wish them the very best. Give them the power of foresight and intuitive ability to see things and sense things before they happen so they can take action and preserve their life and the life of their mates as they move forward. Okay? So with that, we'll close. Thank you very much for your time and joining me on Starship Gaia, where you are a passenger and crew member as we explore quantum reality. Blessings all.